Mandalorian and Grogu non-spoiler review. Guys, I saw the movie last night and I'm here to discuss everything. I'm going to be doing a separate spoiler review, but this one is for the people who haven't seen the movie and still want to discuss it. So, right off the top, the discourse around this movie is crazy. There is plenty to critique. I have a long list of critiques on my phone that I'm going to get into, but there are a lot of positives as well. This is not the movie to freak out over. Now, there are definitely, like I said, critiques of how the Mandalorian universe, I guess you could say, has been handled, which I'll get into, and kind of how they've handled Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, and really a lot of the direction this show has gone into. I did not like season 3 at all of this show. I really did not like it. But that being said, I really love season 1 and I really love season 2 of this show. I think they're two of the better seasons slash things Star Wars has really ever done. So I think the bait and switch on this show is really weak. And I think before even getting into the movie, I think so much of this is just, there's a lot of, like I said, good faith criticism. People who aren't crazy people, they just criticize the movie. And I'm one of those people who has my critiques as well. But so many people are just grifting online into the negativity because they know it gets views. And it seems like every single NPC, every single person has kind of the same opinion on this movie and wanted to go in hating it and then blaming Disney, blah, 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 blah. There's plenty of stuff to blame Disney about. Obi-Wan wasn't good. The Book of Boba Fett wasn't good. Ahsoka, in my opinion, really wasn't good, especially the lightsaber sequences. But that being said, Disney has still made Rogue One. Disney has still made Andor. Disney has still made Clone Wars and Rebels, and now the Darth Maul show, and plenty of other good animated stuff. So to simply say that Disney has done bad with everything with Star Wars is disingenuous. But the thing is, because the mainline movies weren't received well, and I do not like the sequels at all, that's really gotten kind of the main part of the argument. But getting into the movie, so this movie so I guess question number one for this movie that people are probably wondering, does this feel like an extended episode of the show or episodes matched together? Yes and no. From a production standpoint, I think it looks way better than the show. I think the production is very good. I think the spaceship sequences are very good. I think the set designs are good. We get not a new planet. We've seen a planet in animation, but the first time we're seeing a certain planet that I won't spoil in live action, and I think it looks really cool. So I think we get a lot of good production designs. The music is amazing. Ludwig Göransson did a great job. Really good music throughout the movie. But plot-wise, yeah, it does kind of lack at certain areas. There are certain cuts where you can kind of tell maybe this was supposed to be a different episode. But overall, it wasn't too bad. I'm going to get into my positives first on the movie, because there are plenty of positives that I wrote down. Number one, my biggest takeaway, Embo was awesome. If you don't know him, he's from the Clone Wars, and he's one of my favorite characters. He was awesome. It was pure aura and hype moments, which is exactly what I wanted. I don't care. It was the type of scenes where you're going to go back on YouTube and watch it later, which, if you're not going to get an amazing movie, at least give me that. I mean, people talk about the prequels. So much of the prequels is just going back on YouTube and watching the Darth Maul fight, watching Yoda and Count Dooku fight, watching the lightsaber fights. So that's always been a big part of Star Wars, at least in like the 2000s and on. So I thought Embo was really cool. The fact that Filoni voices him is honestly awesome for me because he's one of my favorite characters that pretty much guarantees that he's always going to look good. But I think they really did him justice. And I guess you can say his dog. I don't know what the creature is called. I guess his dog. But yeah, he gets like a really good shine in this movie, which I liked a lot. The creatures were really cool in this movie. If you kind of like Star Wars creatures or just sci-fi creatures in general, I thought the designs were cool. They were scary. Honestly, they may have even went too far into this because it's supposed to be like a kid-friendly movie, but there's a lot of moments that they wouldn't be scary as like, an adult, but for a kid, a lot of these monsters are kind of scary. I mean, even the Hutts. So that was kind of interesting to kind of see if that'll have any effect on bringing kids to this movie or have any effect during the movie. But the monsters and the creatures I thought were really cool. There was a new planet which I was mixed on, which at times looks very Underworld-esque, but then at times it just feels like you're in Chicago. So I kind of called it Space Chicago, and there's just a scene where it's like kind of like every second you're like, okay, it looks good, it looks bad, it looks good, it looks bad, and I'm just kind of like flip-flopping back and forth. But overall, I do kind of like seeing the underworld type stuff in live action. I think you just need like a ton of neon lights everywhere and signs, and just make it really dimly lit, almost like Gotham City a little bit, but more in the Star Wars universe. The spaceships were really really cool. There was one scene in particular where Mando is flying the Razor Crest, and their two ships are kind of tailing behind him, and they start blasting like techno house synth music. And I'm like, this is exactly what I want. This is probably what that canceled movie could have been like. But just, there's so many moments in this movie where they're just doing really, really cool shit. And I'm just like, man, lean into that. That could be its own movie. That could be its own thing. Like, lean into that. And it's like we only get bits and pieces of it before it goes back into the Mandalorian and Grogu kind of like typical stuff. Like I said, the music was amazing. The music was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. He brought a lot of the old stuff back. He twisted kind of the old theme, but like with new themes. There was, new stuff. So I thought it was really good. There were a lot of music that I distinctly remember from the first season that he brought back. So the music was really, really good. I would definitely pay attention to that seeing the movie. And like I said, the planet, well, I guess they kind of show it, but there was a planet which was really, really cool, which I liked a lot. And overall, I think the production value of this movie was really good. I think it looked good. I think it sounded good. The music looked good. So overall, that was good. But now I need to get into kind of the negatives of the movie. So number one, they gotta decide what to do with Grogu. They cannot just keep going in circles over and over and over again. I think this is a definitive endpoint of him kind of being a baby. Well, he's 50, I guess, a couple of seasons of the show, so he's like 55 now, 53. And I kind of feel like they kind of dropped the ball here. He could have at least had like a Mandalorian helmet on or something, but they gotta decide kind of what to do with Grogu, because they're just kind of going in circles with the plot a little bit, and it's just not going well. They need to kind of fix that. Two, they got to go back to this being a Western show. I don't know if they have to split Grogu and Mando into separate properties, but this show was a really, really good Western show in the Star Wars universe, and it's just kind of totally lost that. Like I said, I understand that you need to make kind of like a family drama and not a family drama, but like a family-friendly show. But I just think it's been the wrong decision. And so I think they just got to start doing things like that. And then another critique I'll get into more in spoilers is just the lack of kind of connectivity to the show and the stakes of the show, especially in season 3, which I didn't even like, not really existing here, or really Mandalorian lore. I think there's also, not that I wanted this to be a cameo fest, but there is really a lack of cameos, a lack of side characters, a lack of connection really to most of the other Star Wars universe, with the exception of one character. So I'm going to get into spoiler thoughts now. Overall, I'm going to give this, I don't know, I lean anywhere from like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Definitely not the worst Star Wars movie. I would say this is like it's really like a Solo type movie, but I think better than Solo, but similar kind of stakes. I don't think it's as good as Rogue One. It's definitely not as good, obviously, as the original trilogy. People, the prequels are just so much higher stakes. I'm going to have to take those over this as well. But this is an enjoyable movie. It's just an added lore to the show. So I'm going to get into spoiler thoughts now, but thanks, guys, for watching. I'd recommend seeing this movie. Definitely if you have Disney Plus, watch it on Disney Plus. But if you have a kid, I would definitely go see it. But even then, it's an enjoyable 2 hours. There's definitely some critiques. I'm going to get into that. But thanks, guys, for watching. And